The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
I love that. If you can't handle the truth, you're in the wrong place. What's up, everybody? It's February 5th. Happy birthday, Richard. Happy birthday, my son, Richard. Today, February 5th, 2026. What's up, everybody? It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. It is on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, all over the darn place for you Christians. And on in New Orleans, it's WBOK 1230 a.m. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today on a Thursday. Well, it's always on a Thursday. We might be switching to Monday, though. I keep you posted. We might be switching the show to Mondays at 7 p.m., the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. So what's everybody? Shout out to my peeps all over the place. Shout out to my folks in Chicago trying to holler at me on blogtalkradio.com. Thank you so much. And to my folks on YouTube, the Ron Kelly Show. Now, there's two YouTube channels. I got it. One of them I have to eliminate. That's what's making confusing things. But anyway, everybody, welcome. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. Man, lots going on. Yeah, there's a kid in I was watching something earlier today. You know, I come up with stuff. And I was watching something earlier today. Oh, by the way, before I forget, we're going to have Casey Melvin running for council at large in the great city of Paterson, New Jersey. Casey Melvin is going to be on the show in just a few minutes, everybody. We're trying to work out some stuff, this business. Why do I stay here? Anyway, everybody, it's just a couple minutes past the hour. And so there's a kid, Austin Thompson. It's a kid. Austin Thompson from North Carolina. He was 15 years old at the time when he committed this crime. 15. So the first thing he did was he killed his older brother, 16 years old. This kid was 15. Austin Thompson was 15 years old. Killed his brother. First he shot him in the head, but the brother didn't die right away. So he stabbed him 57 times. His brother, his older brother, only a year older than he was. Okay? And then he went outside and shot and killed 4 more people, including a Raleigh police officer who was off duty, who was waiting for his daughter to come home. And he was sitting in the car. He was getting ready to do his shift. And this Austin Thompson killed the police officer. So he killed his brother, killed the police officer, and killed 3 other people. And then he tried to kill himself. He couldn't do nothing right. Then he tried to kill himself. And he had partial brain damage, but he didn't die. And he tried to kill himself. So he wasn't escaping that easy. So now, this was when he was 15. So now he's 18. But the crime was committed when he was 15 years old. So they're holding these, okay, I see Brother Casey Melvin is on. We'll get to him in just a few minutes. So they're holding what they call the Miller hearings, right? Now this kid, 15 years old, kills 5 people and wounds 2 others. And they're having what they call the Miller hearings. Now, because he already confessed and everything, and they had what they call the Miller hearings because in North Carolina, somebody that age cannot get life without parole. And you can't get the death penalty, and a 15-year-old cannot get life without parole. So they're having these hearings, and they are trying to figure out whether he's going to get parole or not parole. And so this is going to take like 2 weeks. I mean, what's the problem? Why are you waiting to see whether you're going to put this kid, give him life? because they're finding out even more stuff with these what the so-called Miller hearings, because had notes in his room, was trying to build a bomb, all of this stuff. I mean, he had all these little notes, and and he was methodical about it. It was definitely premeditated. So did I say medicated? Yeah, it was definitely premeditated. So I'm like, what's the problem? So he pled guilty because he wanted to spare the families the agony of going through a trial. But what is this? His father was on the stand yesterday, testifying, and they're stirring the whole thing up all over again. So I don't understand how you're saving the folks any anguish by not having a trial when you're holding these Miller hearings. So they're trying to decide whether he's going to get. They know he's going to get life. So this whole hearings, 2 weeks worth of hearings to figure out whether he gets parole or no parole. I mean, come on, give me a break. What a world we live in. Anyway, everybody, it's about 7 minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Just in just a couple of seconds, we're going to have Casey Melvin, who is the candidate for council at large. We talk about him, and we'll find out what's on his mind and what he plans to do for the city of Paterson, New Jersey. So all of you Paterson folks need to get on. It's the Ron Kelly Show on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, blogtalkradio.com, and also on WBOK 1230 AM in New Orleans. So y'all need to get it together and come holler at this brother. Yes, sir. He's here. Coming to the stage in just a second. But anyway, everybody, yeah, so that's the thing. Austin Thompson. Look it up. Why are you having all of these, why are you having these hearings about whether he gets parole or no parole? Because the life sentence is already carved in stone. Now they're trying to figure out whether he's going to get parole or not, man. Oh boy, I'll talk a little more about that as the case goes on. And it looks like Doogie Howser, exactly like him. Remember old Doogie Howser TV show? He looks just like him. So So anyway, it's 10 minutes past the hour. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, it's election day today. So somebody's fighting for Mikey's old seat, Mikey Sherrill, who's now the governor of the state of New Jersey. And there's a handful of people are fighting for her old seat. There's about 8 people. I'm like, wow. So, including Tahisha Way, who was the Secretary of State for the state of New Jersey. And she was Secretary of State, and when the Lieutenant Governor died, Sheila Oliver, Tahisha Way was installed in her place as Lieutenant Governor. So she's been with Murphy the whole time that she's been in office with Murphy, but Murphy supporting somebody else. Murphy supporting Brandon Gill. I'm like, well, what the heck is going on here? If she worked with him his entire term in office, and now he's going to be supporting somebody else. I'm like, what the heck is that about? So we'll see. Today there's one lone Republican who's running for that seat, Mikey Sherrill's old seat, the 11th congressional district, state of New Jersey. One Republican, Joe something or other. I don't even remember. He's gonna lose. His campaign was doomed from the very start. But we're going to see if this brother's campaign is doomed from the very start. Everybody, it's about 10 minutes after the hour. So take a quick break. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with Casey Melvin, who is the candidate, one of several candidates for the council at large seats in the great city of Paterson, New Jersey. So we'll be back in just a minute with him. And everybody just hold on. It's about 10 minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and WBOK 1230 AM in New Orleans. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news site. Yeah. Okay. Giving me grief now. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
Everybody, we're back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Coming to you live from, where am I? Bloomfield, New Jersey. Well, of course, it's social media spectrum. And WBOK 1230 AM in New Orleans, as they call it. So we're back, everybody. It's about 12 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. And with no further ado, we have Casey Melvin, who doesn't need an introduction, especially for the folks who live in city of Paterson, New Jersey. You think of the Day of the Babies, which I was blessed to be associated with many, many moons ago when I used to do my show from Paterson. But anyway, with no further ado, it's bring on my brother, Casey Melvin, who is the one of several candidates for the Council at Large seats of the great city of Paterson, New Jersey. Greetings, my brother. How are you tonight?
I'm fantastic, brother Ron. Long time no see. It's great to see you, man. And I appreciate you for having me on the show.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I sat in your chair at the.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's been a minute since I sat in your chair. So how's everything, brother? How are you?
Man,
how's things going with you?
I'm fantastic, brother. Just working, staying busy, grinding. The election calls for that. So, I haven't stopped. I declared back in March of 2025, and I've just been, picking up on the momentum, getting to that destination on May 12th.
Okay, now this isn't your first time running for council.
Not at all.
Okay, so I think, what was it, 2018, I believe it was the first time you ran for council. It was about 8 years ago.
Yes. Yep, 2018 and 2022.
Okay, yeah, so you keep coming back. I hear that.
Yes, sir.
Now, in 2018, when you decided to run for the council of the city of Paterson, what did you see at that time when you looked around and what was it that was going on in the city of Paterson that compelled you to run for council?
So 2018, it was a lot going on, actually. Pretty much a lot of what we're experiencing right now. To the extent of the quality of life issues. We still had the parking issues. We still had the present issues, the snowstorms and the difficulty with managing that, the homelessness. Only difference back then in 2018, about 18 years ago, was the housing. We didn't have as many housing units as we have today. But public safety was still challenging. What else? Economic development wasn't where it needed to be. So it's pretty much the same issues that existed back then are still present in this day and time.
Yeah. I mean, I've covered the city of Paterson for many years, and it was like going from you're going from the frying pan into the fire, kind of, so to speak. In your efforts to get elected to the to the council. Now, so when you look at the city of Paterson, Paterson is kind of like the looking at some of those council meetings, it's just kind of unbelievable with the behavior of some of those council members. So, and I'm not asking you to talk about them, but what do you think that you can bring to the council, to kind of buffer that, with
Yeah, so
what can you
I
bring
think
to the
that's a
council?
lot of folks' issue. I've been told, and I also observed the same that other people have been saying in regards to a lot of confusion and the council meetings being chaotic. What I'd like to add to that is a little more professionalism, a little more decorum, and then just a lot of one-on-ones. I think there's a lot of disagreements regarding personality and the way business is conducted. People have different styles of communicating, and my part for one is I've always been a respectful person of everybody's position in their persons. I'm not a person who attacks people or tries to embarrass them, at least not intentionally. So I do my best to try to build relationships prior to the council meeting, and then if there's any differences in opinions or thoughts or ideologies, I try to work that out in a professional manner without being disrespectful. If I come to the point of me being disrespectful, I'd automatically withdraw myself, from the conversation. But it's important, Brother Ron, when you talk about professionalism and chaos that we see, it's kind of contrary to the position, because every person who's elected on the council takes an oath to uphold the Constitution in their position as a council person. And there's rules within legislation that requires you to be professional and always enact decorum. So that's actually a violation of everybody's position, who's ever guilty of not being professional.
So you talked about redevelopment, and that's always been like one of the core sticky issues in the city of Paterson, because I was in Paterson about a week or so ago, and I saw buildings where there was no building before, and it seems like they're just putting them up in any little corner that they can put them up in, and then the rents are not reasonable. So what do you speak to that? What do you see there, and what do you think that can be done to make it a little bit better?
Well, it's always my position, ever since I became conscious, and in my adult years, I've always been motivated, and I've always encouraged people to be homeowners. So my first recommendation is we need to spur and put more emphasis in home ownership as opposed to people being tenants, because, as you said, the rents that people are paying are like somewhat of a mortgage. They're paying $2,000 and $3,000 for two-bedroom apartments, and the apartments are no bigger than one room chopped up into 3 or 4 pieces. So for the money that they've been paying for one or two-bedroom apartments, you pretty much can qualify to pay for a mortgage. I think that the city of Paterson is overdeveloped. I think that when we talk about the tax abatements, because that's a big subject, I think the incentive to give abatements is kind of met. It's fulfilled itself, as I understand it, tax abatements were an incentive to develop properties, for developers, to encourage people, to spur, that development aspect of housing and commercialism. But we've reached our mark. We're busting out of the seams with multiple housing units, to the point where, it changed the whole landscape of the city. So I'm not at this point a fan of overdevelopment. I do appreciate development. I do appreciate, affordable housing, but I think what we're experiencing right now doesn't meet that mark.
Is that, and to piggyback off of it, is that even possible with Paterson being a distressed city and needing money every year to survive? Is home ownership with the median income in Paterson not being very high, is that even possible for for there to be, for there to be more home ownership in the city of Paterson with the median income as low as it is?
That's a great question, Brother Ron. Is it possible? And you asked a question earlier. I'm going to bring them both together. You asked a question earlier about my motivation for running back in 2018. It was actually a situation whereas I was advocating for home ownership for residents. To the council, to the legislative body, and it kind of fell off deaf ears. It took on a good. I had a good start with it, but as it got into the legislative body, it was totally like dismissed as a utopian dream, for lack of a better word, right? But when you really look at it, there's so many programs for first-time home buyers. There are programs for people who are on Section 8 who can actually qualify. Now, when you talk about Section 8, you're at or slightly above, the poverty line, right? You receive some type of assistance. You can use your Section 8 voucher to put that towards a mortgage. And they have so many programs, such as the first-time home buyers program where the city and the state gives you money. I myself, benefited from the first-time home buyers program where the city actually gives you, the state gives you up to $10,000 to $15,000 towards the down payment. Right? And all you need is a score of about 670. And a few bucks in the bank, a few dollars in the bank, a few $1,000s in the bank, which most people can get through their tax return as a down payment for a house. And on top of that, this was the most frustrating part, right? Back in 2018, when we talk about home ownership, because that's my passion, right? Is that the city was auctioning off over 1,500, between 200 and 1,000 properties, right? At prices as low as $400. That was the starting bid. So if you went into an auction with your income tax return, you could actually acquire one of these properties and then take out several loans to help develop it. So yes, Ron, your question about the state of a person's income and being struggling financially, you do have the ability to be a homeowner. Yes.
But let me ask you this now. I mean, as somebody who I lived in Paterson for 13 years before I moved to Montclair, so I'm very familiar with the city of Paterson. Now, and I am familiar with those properties you talked about, those dilapidated properties that were just sitting there. Now, when you look at those properties, everybody's Casey Melvin, and you can see it on the screen, Casey Melvin, council at large candidate for the great city of Paterson, New Jersey. When you look at those properties, though, it would cost probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix, manage, and repair and make those properties livable. Some of them they've been sitting there for decades. So, I mean, let me ask you this. Is it, people complain about Mr. Florio, for example, and how he's building on these properties, these dilapidated properties. He's taking them, he's fixing them up. So is it, the lesser of the two evils to have someone come in, because with those houses, when they auction up those houses, they want you to refix them and they want you to live there too. So with the median income of the city of Paterson, is it even possible for folks to purchase those properties, pay off the tax liens? I don't know if the tax lien, you probably know better than I do. Is it even possible for folks to buy these properties and then spend hundreds of thousands of dollars making them livable?
So to give you an overview of the process when you acquire these properties, right? Or at least back then, in 2018 and 2019 and 2020, when they were auctioning off properties, in abundance, right? For one, I always encourage individuals to buy property regardless of the condition. Even if it's a burnt down, shack on that property, still acquire. You know why? Because land is power, and then not making land is not self-producing. Right? We only got what we got. So it's always an investment to get property, regardless of the condition. We've been kind of misinformed on, that property's no good, or this property's no good. That's a farce. That's fake. That's a fake. Not true, right? If a person had acquired a property back then through an auction, for one, there's no tax lien during that time, because all the encumbrances and all the liens were included within that price. For this specific incident, now there's instances whereas you have to cover liens and things like that, but this was not the case with this auction. Now, even if that is the case, a lot of those liens are not even to the point that it can't be afforded. Because again, even though we appear to be a community, a black and brown community who doesn't have a lot of money, we got the latest sneakers, the latest fashion, jewelry, and we get tax returns. I had family members that received $7,000-8,000 in tax returns, and that was more than enough to not only acquire a property, but once you acquire the property, you can get a construction loan to redevelop it, and the property automatically has value. So you can use that equity, leverage that equity, and get a construction loan or grant to help redevelop that property, or sit on it and you can flip it, to buy a better property. So there's so many ways that a person who participated in that auction back then could have benefited not only from the property, but developing it and making money. I'm just saying, my point was that the opportunity should have been given to the residents first.
So are you in favor of educating the folks, like having seminars and what have you, and educating the folks on how to accomplish these things?
Absolutely, that's a small order. We actually done some years back. We've done some presentations on at City Council chambers. Myself, Councilman Mike Jackson, and I believe Councilwoman at Large we actually hosted a presentation where we talked to people about acquiring property and redeveloping it. So yeah, I'm more than glad to do that. And I don't know everything, but I'm around enough people who have those resources, who have the information. They actually help me get my property. So that's not a problem at all.
Okay. All right, everybody, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with Casey Melvin. So he's a candidate for council of the great city of Paterson, New Jersey. We'll be back in just a moment with him and more. Saran Kelly talk radio program, and it's on all over social media spectrum. And in LA, in Nolens, it's I missed all the. I'll get to your questions, everybody. I'm just seeing them populate on the screen. I'll get to your questions in just a moment. We'll be back in just a second. It's Ron Kelly Talk Radio. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
Where did Casey Melvin go? Oh, there he is. All right, everybody. The Ron Kelly Talk Radio program is sponsored in part by America and Porterfield Transportation. Don't you know, for 45 years, just around the time I was born, 45 years, y'all know that's a lie. Anyway, 45 years, America and Porterfield Transportation has been providing safe and reliable transportation to and from your destination. School districts, private school transportation, casino trips, senior trips, you name it, America and Porterfield can definitely handle it. So you give them a call, 908-753-6423, 908-753-6423. You can email them. It's amaker.porterfield@verizon.net. That's amaker.porterfield@verizon.net. So hook up with them. You won't be sitting on the side of the highway looking retarded. Just it's America and Porterfield Transportation, your source for safe and reliable transportation, and is a sponsoring part of the Ron Kelly Talk radio program at half past the hour. Okay, so there's some comments. There were some comments. Somebody was saying there was feedback. I'm not sure. Oh, there's feedback when you're speaking. That's what somebody, Talina Lachelle Queen says there's feedback when the guest is talking. I have no control over that. I don't know what that's about, but that's on brother Casey Melvin's side. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know how to control it either.
Yeah, they said
I don't know how to control it either.
Yeah, they said the connection destroying the quality of the candidates' responses. I don't know why that's happening. Yeah, they're complaining about the audio. Complain about the audio. I'm not sure why that is. I did see two of you at one time, and now I only see one. I don't know if your phone is still connected to the show, or if there's more than one connection to the show. That might be part of the problem. Yeah, that might be part of the problem if there's more than one connection to the show. All right, everybody. All right, y'all. Chill out. We got you. Yeah, we got you. Yeah, they're saying there's feedback. I don't know where the feedback is coming from.
When we go to a break, I can try another device.
All right, let me take a quick break, come back with more of the program. It's the Ron Kelly Show. We are back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. And it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com. Let's see if we can straighten out just something with us, whatever everybody's telling me is going on. Yeah, because if you have, okay, okay, yeah, now I see like, okay, let me remove this one.
Better.
Okay, yeah. I don't know.
We still getting
Everybody's
feedback.
complaining about everything tonight. Now I don't know if you're listening to me. The feedback happens if you're listening to me and your mic is picking me up. And when you talk, your speaker is picking up the sound along with your voice. So that could be a little bit of a problem. So if you have something, brother, that you're listening to, if you have something that you're listening to separate from your mic, that's how the feedback happens, because you have a speaker and it's talking, it's listening to me, and then when you talk, the speaker listens to you, and it comes through. So it's like two voices coming through. So, okay, let me unmute you. Okay. Okay, now it says that you muted yourself, so I can't unmute you. Yeah, the machine is telling me that you.
Yeah,
I can't.
I'm muted now.
I'm muted now.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, everybody, start complaining. All right, everybody, it's 24 minutes before the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and we are all over the place on the social media: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, blogtalkradio.com, LA Talk Radio, and of course, WBOK 12:30 a.m. in New Orleans. So now somebody's saying they don't hear. Now Dawn Briggs Moody is saying she can't hear anything. So I don't know if that means that she can't hear me or she just can't hear you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can folks
Yeah,
hear me
I-
now?
Hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. My mic is working, and I can hear you. Okay. All right. So I don't know what's going on. Somebody said that they can't hear nothing. That was Dawn Briggs Moody said she can't hear anything. So I don't know. I don't know. All their comments about the sound. Nobody's asking anything about, what about you, but we'll go on with the program. I can hear you, and my mic appears to be working, so I don't know what the issue is. Anyway, everybody, it's about 22 minutes before the hour. This is the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Our special guest is Casey Melvin, who is the yes, we can hear you with feedback. I'm not sure why they're saying that, because I only got one speaker. I only got one mic over here, and my phone is not picking up the show. So
Our first guest tonight, you start getting old and shit change.
yeah. So all right, everybody. Okay, somebody said it sounds good. Oh, thank the Lord Jesus. Let the church say amen. Right, everybody, we continue with Brother Casey Melvin, Council for City. Now, now this is your third time, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
you,
sir.
from what I've read, you're getting like closer and closer. You came really close in 2020. Was it 2020?
2022.
2022, you came very, very close. So, I guess you're hoping that the third time is going to be a charm.
That's what they say, right?
right?
That's what they say.
I give you credit, brother, because I don't know if I'd want to be, because Paterson is it's like, I don't know what to say, with all that's going on there. It just seems like really like out of control, like where nobody really knows. It's like the right hand don't know what the left hand is doing, kind of, sort of. So you're gonna be swimming with sharks when you get in there. So what's your plan? What's Casey Melvin's plan on day one?
So day one, which is June 1st, actually we do our reorganization. July 1st. No, June 1st, pardon me, June 1st. There's going to be a lot of jockeying for council president, right? So there's going to be solicitation for a vote and things like that. Of course, I wouldn't try to go in there first term and try to be council president. Yet I'd be involved in a conversation regarding how whoever the leader of the council would be would be able to work with the administration, because we can't go in there, like as you said, the left hand not working with the right hand. the legislative branch and the administrative branch are not two different bodies. People look at them as bodies, but there are actually branches to one body. As you said, they are interdependent and cannot exist without each other successfully. So it would do with a plan to work with the administration for the benefit of the people. So my first few days in office would be just that, trying to get the council, the legislative branch, and the administrative branch to go in there with a cohesive plan to work together for the benefit of the city. And then start, implementing different things that I see fit, and combining ideas. Because again, from the outside, I can say a lot of things. But once I get in there and start reviewing the budget in detail, talking to different leaders in different departments, I've had conversations with Public Works, the fire department, other agencies. I like to find out what's going on with them and how we can work collectively together to make the city not only look better, but operate better. So those are going to be my first few days, doing the assessments and finding things, what's going on, and building relationships.
Because it seems like there's just no room. It seems like there's no. It seems like there's no room. Now I can hear you, but this thing is telling me that your mic is muted for some reason, but I can hear you. I don't know what the problem is, but
I only muted you. I only muted because I didn't want your voice to go into echo. So when I speak,
because of the feedback.
So when I speak, I'll unmute.
Okay. Because of the feedback. Okay. So is there any room in the city of Paterson for more business opportunities? Because it seems like there's just no room. There's just so many people, and there's so much going on. Even down in the industrial area, down off of Straight Street, all down there. So what do you think that the city of Paterson should be doing as far as like bringing new business into the city?
So I think a lot of businesses, especially the big box entities, look at your demographics. They look at just the trends in spending, right? They look at the income. As you said, Paterson's not on the map for for individuals who are earning a six-digit salary. However, if we can work on and this is part of my conversation. This is going to be part of my conversation when I join the elected, is that we need to redirect some of the resources and some of the contracts to local individuals. I've always had an issue with hearing about how much money we spent on paving the roads, but yet every time I see a project going on, I don't see one person who's from Paterson. All this new construction going up, but we have yet to see one individual working on this new construction that we know from Paterson. And if there is, you can count them on one hand. So and I think if we empower our residents more with business opportunities, give them the adequate training, I think they'll make more money, they'll spend more money, and that'll invite more businesses to come. Because right now that's not happening. A lot of our major contracts go outside the city. A lot of our highest paying positions are out of the city. A lot of the development, the construction, the civil development that relates to the city is outsiders. So if we're spending $300 plus million a year, we should be able to see that in our commerce, and we're not. So if we can redirect some of that spending to locals, I think more businesses will be more inviting to come here. So that's going to be part of my conversation going in under economic development and stimulating the economy locally.
So West Paterson used to be West Paterson. Now it's something else. Woodland Hills, Woodland
Park.
Right, and the other town on the other side used to be East Paterson. Now they changed their name because they didn't want to be associated.
Elmwood Park.
Yeah, was East Paterson years ago. And
look, Garrett Mountain is fighting to be Garrett Heights.
Right. And see, because everybody is trying to distance themselves from the city of Paterson, New Jersey, because of all that goes on. Uh, there's a campaign. I know that the mayor's been talking about fixing up the Great Falls and making it, more user friendly, hotels, whatever. I remember even back in Jeff Jones' administration, there was a talk about putting a hotel there. So the reason why these people wanted to distance themselves from the city of Patterson is pretty obvious. So what do you think needs to be done to remove the stigma, to help remove the stigma from of crime and drugs and all kind, the stigma of darkness that surrounds the city of Patterson. What do you think we could do, or what can be done rather, to to minimize that?
So every city, I can't name a city that doesn't experience some levels of crime, some levels of poverty, or low income. Because in some cities, some affluent cities, if you make $50,000, you may be considered impoverished in comparison to the other folks around you. So I think every city, especially urban cities, are gonna have their problems. I think the biggest part right now is our public relations, right, and our aesthetics, what you see when you come outside. You as I said earlier, other cities have problems, but then they don't amplify their problems. The folk in those other towns have a greater level of pride in their city, and they take initiatives to rectify the situation before it becomes outrageous. Before a relative gets homeless in other cities, that people are more, provide more services, of greater levels of assistance, and we're not getting that type of feeling when you come into Patterson. It's like people have given up. They walk around with a sense of hopelessness. It's always my objective to be optimistic and inspire folk to look at the greatness in the city of Patterson. To look at Patterson from a positive perspective and what it can be, not what it is. Not stuck on what it is. And part of my slogan, aside from KC Melvin for the win, is also putting Patterson on the path to win. I want to give people that winning feeling that it's possible. But it is a pathway. It's not like a short destination. It's a road that we got to travel, but we got to start off with ourselves first. Educating ourselves about what's important, what's not. Taking better pride in where you live at. Educating, putting more emphasis on educating and bringing back the family structure, the basic things. I would like to do that by way of example and inspiration. If we can give our residents a little more sense of hope, I think that would be the beginning of you starting to see changes from within working its way outwardly. Because as you said, every time you ride through Patterson and you see certain things, it kind of makes you drop your head. I want people to lift their head up when they think about Patterson and come to Patterson. But me being in office and like-minded, like people like myself who won't put greater emphasis in the negative and focus more on the positive, I think that's going to be towards my path of, our town and our city looking more like, like it's development in a positive way and winning.
Yeah, well, because we know, like, especially in the city of Patterson, we know Carroll Street, the lower part of Van Houten, Broadway, 18th Ave, Rosa Parks. We know, those are generally the areas you just don't go in, period. You or anybody else. So how can we, because it starts with the mindset of the folks who live there. Fourth Ward, primarily. It starts with the mindset of the folks. So what can you do? I mean, I know it takes a village, but what do you have any plans to try to get these kids, as monumental as that might seem? Do you have any plans to maybe start some programs, something to attract these kids and get them off the streets, wreaking havoc and mayhem?
You mentioned earlier about the Day of the Babies, right? And that was 30 years ago, right? And we're still running 30 years straight. And our target population is the at-risk youth, the ones who have difficulty, the downtrodden, the forgotten, the least of these, right? Whom we actually targeted in the fourth ward, right? And we've been doing that for 30 years. I don't think no other candidate who's running has a 30-year track record of community service, and we've kind of specialized in dealing with those folk who you talk about, like from the Carroll streets and those streets where high crime exists, where poverty exists, where inferior education exists, and we've been taking those same individuals and polishing them up with just showing them that we care about them. We go to the institutions with the program that I'm working with now, the Paterson Healing Collective, and we visit individuals who have taken a wrong turn in life and inspire them when you come home, give you the support to be a productive citizen. We're talking about going back to school, educating, telling them, encouraging them to go back to school, get their high school diplomas and GEDs, getting their driver's license and their permits, giving them job training so they can hold a job position. Like all these tools. We have smaller programs right now, but if I'm able to, get across my colleagues' draft resolution to create programs that are support programs that are already doing these services in a small way. There's still programs out here that are helping young people, that are helping the homeless, that are helping people who experience high levels of trauma. I want to redirect services to help those folks, because there's no reason why, and I said this in another conversation, why a person should be homeless when who's born and raised or living in the city of Paterson and falls on hard times, whether it be through addiction or mental health or income, find himself homeless when a person can come from a whole nother country and get housing, or a person commit a crime can get housing, be it through incarceration, but still. And I heard this being said by a homeless person one time, like, in the wintertime, I commit a crime so I can go to jail and I have somewhere to stay. We shouldn't have that mentality right now. There should be services for individuals who are in need, because I think once you address those issues and you invest the right way with the right people, you can get a better result. So those are going to be some of the things that I'm going to be working on continuously, because I'm working with that population already, Ron. You're on mute. I can't hear you.
It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. My guest is Casey Melvin, is a council running for council at large in the great city of Paterson, New Jersey. Now, Paterson Paterson is a melting pot, and there's different areas of the city that you're going to need to approach, because it's that citywide office. It's not just one ward. So
Absolutely.
have you reached out to the folks in some of the other areas of the city? Have you reached out to the Arabs and some of the other ethnic groups in the city of Paterson?
Yeah, every election, every time I run, I reach out to different populations and different leaders in different communities: the Arabic community, Bengali, the faith-based, different individuals from different wards, and I plan to continue that. It's important that for the position that I'm running for, that I get the views and concerns of all the residents, not just a few. I currently live in the first ward, and I know the third ward I'm residing in now, and I know the demographics of the residents, large majority being Latino. I plan on embracing the Latino community. I'm connecting myself with leaders of the Latino community, the Bengali community, the Arabic, the Muslim community, the faith-based community, all nationalities of the town. I plan to service, and I've learned that once you address certain issues like quality of life, economic development, public safety, taxes, you kind of, I'm going to find myself in the homes and in the ideas and the minds of the majority of the city itself, because these are core issues that pretty much every community is facing and dealing with, and quality of life, of course, as we talked about, when you ride around, when you walk around, your safety, that's everybody's concern, regardless of your ethnicity. So with those issues, that's going to be my starting point. It's going to be my conversation piece to dialogue with them and get their support, because we know that the 90,000+ voters, that the more people you get out and support your your platform, the better your chances are. So I'm welcoming everybody. My office space, it'll be open on the 16th of February, and I'm inviting everybody to come out at our campaign grand opening. And if I've missed anything, if I missed a group, if I missed a religion, a faith base, a nationality, come on in and let's have that talk.
Yeah, maybe I'll be there. I might have to wear some. I might have to wear a disguise. I don't want to be.
Nah, you always welcome, brother. Come on,
Because
now.
I can't, because people always get on me about, you just, blah, blah, blah. It's okay, though, anyway. February 13th. February 13th, you
The
said,
16th,
right?
February 16th.
That's February 16th. And where's it going to be?
At 100 Hamilton Plaza. It's right downtown, where the Planet Fitness gym is. Like I'm right on the ground floor above the Planet Fitness gym downtown Paterson. It's on Hamilton Plaza and Market Street. We're gonna have our campaign grand opening on the 16th, and then our office is gonna be open, daily, and people can reach out to me if they have some issues, some concerns. We're gonna register to vote. We're gonna do our website launch. We're gonna have some fellowship, and meet folk. And everything, any questions or concerns that they have, they can present it to me. And I'm also looking for some campaign volunteers as well. I'm trying to, reach out to at least 10,000 people. So if you want to be one of those 10,000 who supports Casey Melvin for the win, please reach out to me.
You got a tall order ahead of you, brother.
It's possible.
Because because the battle starts when you after you win. I mean, this trying to get to the top, trying to gain the position is going to be easy compared to trying to work with 8 other people when everybody has a different agenda. It's going to be, but I trust and believe, my brother, that you're gonna handle your business. This is your 3rd time, and maybe hopefully the 3rd time will be a charm. Is the clergy involved with your campaign at all?
Yes, I've been reaching out to some members of the church, of the faith base, and they've been supportive. Again, I'm like kind of easy person to deal with. I'm not a temperamental person. I'm not petty. I'm not hard to get along with. I'm easy to work with, especially if you what you're saying and what you're doing makes sense. And something you hit on too, Ron, I think is very, very important for conversations like this. Man to man, and dealing and keeping things real. There's a lot of forces that don't want my ideologies and what I bring to the table in office, right? Because I'm going to disrupt the status quo. The counterproductive, the selfish, the cliques, the power mongers, right? And the manipulators of the masses, right? That's probably going to be my only challenge. I'm definitely an independent thinker, but I know that with everybody, at least the majority of folk in office, they need that support. I can't say that every candidate needs to go, every candidate is bad. I think that some people are just waiting for that additional support. And I want to be that additional support to help our city progress, because, sometimes they find themselves like, in a no-win situation, or they may rely on other individuals for their livelihood, and that's not good, because at the end of the day, our city and our people lose, and I'm going to try to, I'm going to challenge that, but at the same time, I'm going to deal with what makes sense, and I'm going to support those who always wanted, to do the right thing, but in some instances, couldn't do it. So now now that they got a partner, in doing the right thing, and I want to be that partner for those in office now.
Well, you have a big job ahead of you, my brother. Not just getting the seat, but once you get it, because the powers that be in the city of Paterson, all in the same boat, but they're rowing in different directions. And they need to get on the same page, because that's part of the problem, that nobody can, can we all just get along? And there's a lot that goes on behind. I got about 30 seconds left. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. One hand scratching one back scratching the other. So and that's part of the problem too. So hopefully, once you get in there, you can. And I know one man can make a difference, brother. So take a minute or so to tell people what your agenda is, and as if tomorrow was election day.
Okay, so I want to encourage everybody to come out and vote May 12th for Casey Melvin, Council at Large Candidate. I'm not new to the city of Paterson. I'm just coming different. An old saying, if you do the same thing and expect different results, that's insanity, because we can't keep doing the same thing. Our city, when it comes to employment and business development, is not where it needs to be. Our city, when it comes to taxes, is not where it needs to be. When it comes to the quality of life, the snowstorm is a clear example. It could be improved, right? As well as housing and home ownership. There's great opportunity for the residents, and I want to be the one to help, bring that into fruition. And also safety. Safety right now. I work at a program who provides safety and deals with victims of violence. I want to come up with a comprehensive plan, working with the existing agencies and entities in office, and make our city not only a more cleaner place, a place where you would proud to live at, but a safe place as well, because safety is very important. So May 12th, 2026, please vote for Casey Melvin, Councilman at Large in your great city of Paterson.
All right, appreciate you, Casey Melvin. Everybody, he's the candidate for Council at Large. There's a few people running for that. It's about 5 or 6 people, something like that are running for that seat. So, campaign well, brother, and we'll have you back before the election. We'll have you back maybe like in April sometime, just before the election. So, because I get the bugs out of whatever's going on here, and we'll have you come back in April, and we'll have you come back and talk a little bit more about what you plan to do. So thank you for your time. I know you're busy out there campaigning. It's only a couple of months left, so you guys a lot. I know you got a lot on your plate. And February 16th, maybe I'll stop in and get something to eat. It's gonna be food.
Please
right?
do. Please do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna do that. All right, everybody, thank you, brother Casey Melvin. Thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate you, and good luck in the election. All right, everybody, we're out of here. I'm going over. The people in New Orleans is yelling at me, so we'll see you back here next week for another edition of Ron Kelly Show. So until then, I'd like to say that it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice, and that we may not have it all together, but together, Casey Melvin, we can have it all. Thank you so much, everybody. I think I'm out of here. Appreciate you, brother.
All right.